with many contributions from world-class scholars, these debating classic themes of general comparative methodology. A very, very nice book. Plus, if you take a look at the table of contents, you see that the names are really big names. Sue Farran, of course, Shandolan and Matti Toomey, all friends of Juris Diversitas, Sue Farran, Jaco Husa, Werner Mensky, Jan Smits, and others. I cannot mention all of them, but I just mentioned a few of them, but they are all world-class scholars. And the book is entirely enjoyable. Plus, we have the 2-volume publication of the Law and Food Materials from the Lyon Conference, edited by Salvatore Mancuso. One is on law and food. The other one is the language of law and food. So one is more technical, yes. The other one is more methodological and related to language issues. But the two of them have a very distinctive, very appropriate flavor, Juris Diversitas flavor. They taste like gumbo, both of them. And it's interesting to make a remark here, because Routledge has been very, very severely affected by the COVID pandemics in London. So they almost came to a complete stop for more than 6 months, I would say. Then they started working again in late 2020, and still amazing that in the past 2 years, with all that has happened, we have 5 volumes out. Plus, we have the 6th volume in the pipe, which is the one from the Naples gang, edited by Domenico Amirante and Silvia Bagni, the one on environmental constitutionalism in the Anthropocene, which looks very promising. We, in the committee, accepted the book enthusiastically, and Routledge also did. So, should be out soon, inshallah. And so much for the books. So much for the books. The collection, the series is very, very well known, is respected, and the quality is really, really top notch. A few words about the vision. Basically, we have to state again what we stated in 2019 in South Africa. We came to a stop, but we are starting again. We resume from there. So we say again what I said in the previous conference. We have become a globally respected association. Whatever we do is recognized as important, interesting, and producing new knowledge and research. So we should capitalize on this and improve this momentum, increasing confidence and substantial support from scholars and institutions worldwide, including associations of all sorts, research and teaching institutions. Even we could start tapping governments, NGOs, international organizations, private entities, trying to extend the reach of Juris Diversitas outside of the purely academic circles, to become ourselves a global think tank, so to speak, in legal issues. How do we do that? Keeping doing what we do. I think we have done pretty well. And this conference is proving it. The comments are enthusiastic, the sessions are vibrant, and the ideas flow. So we may, of course, remain an academic association of friends. It's a decision we have to make. It's a discussion we already had in South Africa, and we decided we want to have reach, more reach. We even have an outreach officer, I think, in Juris Diversitas, and we want to try and expand. We have been forced to stop for a while, but we are prepared to resume. And so expand activities, expand membership, diversify activities and events, seeking financial sponsors, and go beyond academic circles with our networking, taking advantage of momentum and credibility we have earned thus far. I think Juris Diversitas is among the probably 4, 5 global comparative law associations of a top standing. It's probably the Academy and the International Legal Science the mixed jurists, if they still exist, I don't know. And then it's us, more or less. And so one more idea it just came up to my mind yesterday, actually, because there has been a very interesting discussion in session 1A. And the idea that we should develop together a research project on non-Western law and literature, something very, very, very Juris Diversitas. We had a panel which was very interesting with discussion on Japanese law and literature, on Russian law and literature, on Chinese law and literature. So we already have the potential. Salvatore mentioned African law and literature. We have already the potential there to see whether we can develop a project on that. What's the new thing there? Can we brand projects? Can we endorse projects as Juris Diversitas research projects to give them a brand, the brand of Juris Diversitas? So sorry to use this commercial word, but it conveys the meaning. Can we develop a set of standards to assess a project coming from our membership or friends and put a Juris Diversitas stamp on it, so to speak, to give it international credibility or support from our network? That's something I submit to the committee and to the assembly for consideration. If we decide that can be done, then we will work on developing the standards and the procedures. But there is a few projects already developed in our conferences. One is the one I mentioned on law and literature, but since previous occasions, at least two more have came up as possible research with at Juris Diversitas dimension. One is an idea of Mario Ricca, proposing the creation of a centralized repository for teaching purposes, with materials on the different subjects each of us can teach that can be tapped from members worldwide, making Juris Diversitas sort of a centralized powerhouse for teaching and possibly research activities. Teaching gives a lot of reach. I know research is sexier, but teaching is everywhere. You can imagine how a professor of law in Bhutan or in Rwanda may need something to teach Danish law or Swedish law. And you know that you have a repository you can tap for that. That's a very interesting idea, especially developed in times of COVID, but this will stay with us. COVID might end up someday, but a lot of the things we've learned, doing things over online and so on, will stay with us forever, possibly. Could this be an idea? Another one, David Zamit is developing in Malta a project on smart contracts and transactions in the digital space to see whether they are legal or not vis-a-vis the law of Malta and with the law in general terms. This project has already ramifications with a group presented at the Common Core project last year and accepted, and with an incepting cooperation from Teramo, Italy, also to develop that. So we have a number of friends doing interesting things or thinking interesting things. Can we add something using the capital of Juris Diversitas to improve the impact of whatever we do? That's a question I submit to the assembly and will be my final one. One final remark is, let me express my gratitude to the committee for trust and support, to the membership for growing interest and supporting Juris Diversitas, and to everyone for being here today with us. It feels good. It's not really the best thing, but it feels good that we're back to business somehow. And having said this, from the digital space and from Catania, I wish you all a safe trip back to your next room when you go to sleep or to have dinner. And I really hope we can meet in person as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ignazio, that sounded like a presidential report. I could not have done it better. And it reflects the thinking of our group, of our executive committee. You added a few proposals that will be discussed in the very near future, starting today. You mentioning our presence among a few worldwide comparative law organizations. You mentioned the World Society of Mixed Jurisdictions Jurists, still there, but it's been, I think, slowed down more than Juris Diversitas has. I see Vernon Palmer every now and then. We are almost neighbors. And you mentioned our possible connection or intersecting with these organizations. At our last general meeting that was conducted online in February, we have Chef van Erp, who is the president of the International Association of Legal Science, which is a branch of the United Nations, UNESCO, and he expressed a strong wish to work with us and cooperate on projects. So it indicates indeed that we have reached this level of visibility, that we have become desirable partners to engage into some projects. I will further elaborate on what you said and proposed, and I'm very grateful to Mario Ricca for coming with this idea of having a sort of repository of resources to teach the common law or the comparative law and comparative law related subjects. I think a way to go would be to create a small task force or working group. Let me tell you that I would not hesitate to volunteer to take part to that one. And there are tools. I know that at LSU we are using Digital Commons as a repository. There are ways, indeed, very sophisticated ways of sharing resources. There are all kinds. The devil is always in the detail. We discussed in other sessions, intellectual property, etc. But there are certainly ways of doing this. I have, in the meantime, resolved my little technical glitch, and guess what? Working with a computer with two screens, the document that I wanted to open was on the other screen, and this is why I could not reach it. So now I'm going to come back to a more mundane activity, and hoping that this time it will work. Yeah, I think I see this time. I'll try to make it look bigger. And okay. This is a draft, and this is my mistake because this document has been sent to me already long ago, and I didn't do the needed editing. And we need formally to approve the minutes of the formal meeting, which was held on Zoom on February the 27th. We have there present, etc. And I will present orally the little edits that are needed. Some of them are just formal typo. Jacques van der Linden, his name appears correct at the end. But indeed, and again, in front of you, some of you were not here. We lost a giant in comparative law, legal history, legal anthropology, legal science in general. Early this year, he was a member of our advisory committee, and we will give homage, we will honor his memory in due course. A big part of the presentation, sorry, Krista, if I encroach with your report on elections. We held election according to Article 9 of our Constitution. We had to renew our elected officers, the elected members of the executive committee. This includes the president, the two vice presidents for projects and for events. we will correct, because technically on the Constitution, it's Vice President for projects, Treasurer. I will give you all this in writing, Krista. Don't need to worry about making notes. We proceeded also to the reappointment or appointment of officers who technically are not elected. We have Emmanuel Didier, who has served in the past few years as officer in charge of communication. And we had two nominees, Samuel Amo, who is a longtime friend of Juris Diversitas, and Anne Tersinet. The name will be fixed also. Anne was appointed. What is the name that we gave? Is it development or outreach? I could hear Ignacio say outreach. I believe it's development. Anne, you probably know, if you can unmute, that we.
Yes, development officer.
Development officer. That's what I had in my memory, which sometimes fades. Okay, so that was for the election. The election process was conducted thanks to the help of Alessandra Pera. Thank you so much once again for having served in all these behind the stage tasks that we much appreciate any help we get in all, these functions. Then the other thing that will change in the final version is that we will not have the column on the right. That's a remnant of the work document. It will be presented as minutes, and on the other pages, the only fix is International Association of Legal Science, what I just mentioned. And with these minor changes, really, I ask you, I would need a motion to approve these minutes. Is anyone moving that we approve the minutes? And then we will have a vote. I think I can stop sharing and come back to you. Is anyone moving? Okay, Manuel, thank you. We need a second. I follow the Roberts rule of the rules that we follow in all the English speaking world. Do I have a second? Someone seconds the motion. So then who is in favor? Just raise the hands or use the, I don't know if we have voting buttons. Okay. A few more hands, please. I'm feeling worried. Yes, thank you. I think we may say, I leave that to your judgment, Mrs. Secretary. Did the motion pass? Are the minutes approved? We don't need unanimous vote, but I think we have a comfortable majority. And I see that David Samit approved. If David approves, we're safe.
Olivier,
okay.
Just one thing in the minutes, I see at on top that I have been indicated as present, and afterwards as I am apologizing. This is what I did because of the vaccine. I mean,
that needs to be fixed, because I tell you, the Swiss bankers are going to note that sort of thing. They will say, it would be me, it's okay, I'm born a Gemini, I can be in two places at a time, but I'm not sure you are.
No, sorry.
Okay, so you will be removed from the present, and you're there with a most legitimate excuse, which I'm not sure it needs to be presented by Swiss law. Okay, thank you for this, and that allows me to move back to the report, and I turn it now to you, Salvatore, for your report or remarks. You can be brief, you can be long, but not too long, please.
I won't be long, especially considering that in my capacity as Vice President for events, obviously the pandemic has affected a lot what we have been able to do in terms of events. After the conference in Poch, I started to work with the precious help of Biagio to organize the conference in Catania. And as I said, Biagio deserves a big vote of thanks for this, because he did a tremendous job. And the worst thing has been that his job has been unsuccessful, but we consider it as successful. And this is a virtual Catania conference, hoping that we can have the real Catania conference very soon. We were, obviously, the fact that we moved online changed the activities in terms of organization of the event. So my activity has been changed into supporting the organization of the online event. And for this, I have to say, the vote of thanks goes to our president, because he has taken on his shoulders all the technical part, and I really think that he did a great job for all of us. So thank you so much, Olivier, for this. And we were also working on twinning with other events, and we started to discuss with Mario Ricca the possibility of joining Juris Diversitas with the event he was going to organize on semiotics and law. And again, the pandemic has affected this possibility, but I hope that if Mario will be continuing to organize this event, he can also continue his cooperation with us also in this respect. And I thank Mario for having started this discussion with us, that we want absolutely to bring forward out of the project that he has envisaged with Ignazio. We, as Olivier has mentioned, we also started the idea of organizing an event or something to give tribute to Jacques van der Linden. And this has been, again, we started the discussions to see who is available for and willing to host this small event, in also giving this the possibility of having a different way of event. With Olivier, we were thinking of having not papers presented, but having scholars who discuss and comment the work of Jacques van der Linden. I think that we think actually that this is the best, is an innovative approach to academic events from one side, and from the other side is the best way to give tribute to a prominent scholar that was also among the members of our scientific board. This said, I would just link myself for a moment to Ignazio's report, because one of the things that we are thinking, I was discussing this with Antonello Miranda, that is there, and is our senior professor of in the group of comparative lawyers in Palermo. We were discussing the way, and this links most likely with the idea of Mario and Ignazio about the repository, on how events of Juris Diversitas can be used also as courses for PhD students, and the way on how we can create basically a link to the events and the PhD courses. one idea was to use maybe our PhD in comparative law as a sort of preliminary or experimental platform to see how this can make it possible. But this would be also something that could be explored, in my view. Last but not the least, as you know, this is the actually in 2021 we are holding the 2020 conference. We are not alone. I mean, on Friday the European football games will start, and is the Europe 2020 that will start on June 2021. But this also means that we have to start to think about the next conference, the next plenary conference that is supposed to be, I think, Olivier, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's supposed to be next year, most likely. We will see. Obviously, we need proposals, we need availability. There is a first tentative proposal from Palermo to host the next Juris Diversitas conference. For this, maybe I can, if you allow me, I can give the floor for a moment to Antonello, who may say a few words on this, but I think that this could be a possibility to resume our presence all together somewhere. Obviously, this means that other proposals are welcome, and that the executive committee will examine all the proposals we have. But I think it's good that we already have one, at least. Antonello, if you want to say quickly something about the possible candidacy of Palermo.
Thank you for the senior. This is for me a very bad information. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. Yes, I'm very, very fond and proud to have the possibility to host your conference in Palermo. In reality, it's not in Palermo, but we hope to have the conference in Bagheria. I try to if you want to saw something of the most famous villas in Bagheria, you can look at the web, and you can find a lot of fantastic photos about that. And we have an agreement with the mayor of Bagheria, and we hope to have the possibility to host all the conference there, with the possibility also to have some session in our department next June, next time when you choose this. That's it. I'm very, very proud to have this opportunity, and we hope that we will do our best on that. Thank you.
This being said, I think that I'm done with my report, and obviously I am available to any clarification you members may require. And let me conclude by also myself by thanking you all participants to this conference, those people who helped us in chairing sessions, and in your trustiness in Juris Diversitas. It's thanks to your commitment and to your engagement with us that Juris Diversitas is growing, is reaching the level of standing that Ignazio has brilliantly exposed to you. And I think that we are just at the beginning of a wonderful journey that will bring us to be more and more important every day. It's very good to see old friends. It's very good to make new friends. My wish is that this will happen in presence as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Salvatore, for another very presidential report on our activities. Thank you for your words about the wiring and plumbing. That's the term I use for the logistics of the conference. I tried to make it the least visible possible, but I apologize and I take responsibility for all the glitches except the thunderstorms. I'm not responsible for that. I see that there is a strong wish to have our forthcoming conferences in Great Greece, in Sicily. Guest Zeus has some home in Sicily too, and will be friendly regarding thunders and weather events. I'm very sensitive to that, maybe because I'm living in a storm-prone country. Sicily in the summer is beautiful. And my goodness, Antonello, you've named a place that I remember having visited many, many years ago. And that makes the proposal even more attractive. Now, we understand that I take note of the fact that, yes, our last conference in person was in 2019, and that we have an urge to meet in person. And we will do our best efforts to make this happen next year. The executive committee will anyway do a large debriefing after this conference and planning, because we debrief and plan, we leave, look past, future, present, and we will try to make this happen as soon as possible. Any question or urging question on this report, because there will be a general discussion also at the end. I turn to others, maybe the less fancy report, but that is important. L'argent est le nerf de la guerre. Mr. Treasurer, could you present your report? Lucas, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Let's try the same that you tried before. Screen sharing. So I'll start the financial report very brief, and I just let the figures speak, at least first. Just commenting that the figures look very positive. Those of you who attended the February General Assembly, at that moment I wasn't in possession of the most recent document, so the figures look much better than what I had remembered in February. So we did, and that's mainly thanks to the wonderful and also very efficient, financially speaking, organization of Christa of the South Africa Conference. We were able to close the year 2019 with a surplus of about 5,000 euro. So that would be about what you have here in Swiss francs, 5,700 Swiss francs. And of course, last year, 2020, was much less exciting. You will see we've had a few people paying their fees, a few people who paid even their conference fees and who will get reimbursed this year because, as you know, we weren't able to hold the conference as we had planned to. So in terms of assets, this leaves us in the end of 2020, it left us with almost 10,000 euro on our bank account. And then you see we have money in other forms, cash, checks, and a little bit of money still left on PayPal. Are there any questions regarding the figures for the last 2 years?
I think technically we need an approval of this financial report. Is anyone moving that we approve the financial report just presented by our treasurer? Okay, Christa so moves. Okay, we may vote in any way you like, raising your virtual thumb, or that's what I'm going to do. Okay, or raising a hand physically. Okay, seems that we have a majority, but I'll let our secretary pronounce on this.
Okay, I will take Celia as a second because her hand was up first. Secondly, I mean.
Okay, do we get a majority, you said? Okay. Thank you. So the financial report is approved. And
I would like to continue, if I
please.
may, very briefly, because these were just the figures.
Yep.
I go back, and that was the past. I just quickly I would like to look at the present, because in the present, it looks equally good. And that's maybe not surprising. We are having little expenses for this conference. And if everyone pays the membership fee, we will end up again with the surplus in the end of this year. I think it's important that given past experience, not every conference can be organized as successfully in financial terms as the couple of conferences we have been having. So I think it's important to have some financial cushion in case of if worse times come. And also I think it's good to have some financial leeway to make it possible to start thinking about projects as we obviously are. So if we have the finances to do projects, that will definitely not be detrimental. So these were the figures on the ongoing issues. I would like to report very briefly. I think you are all well aware that the ongoing issue has been and still is the difficulties for us to find a convenient solution to make online payment possible, credit cards payment possible, to make transfers easy. I just was made aware of another solution a couple of days ago when receiving a payment. So I really hope that for next year we'll be able to offer a solution that works better than the bank transfers. Bank transfers work for most European countries, but even within Europe, in some jurisdictions, it's difficult. And I think if you go beyond Europe, it becomes also a financial issue. I also, unfortunately, just discovered that check payments to the Swiss banks is something Swiss banks consider very either outdated or excessively onerous. So I'm saying it here, don't send me any checks anymore, because I have to pay half of the amount when cashing the checks directly to the bank. So it's not really a profitable operation for us. So I think that will remain the main issue for finances, the daily operations also for the next year. And but I'm positive. I think I have new input, and I really hope that we'll be able to find a convenient solution. Thank you very much for your support, and thank you very much, of course, for paying your dues. Those who haven't done so, don't hesitate. It's not too late. Pay your dues if possible. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Lucas, and thank you for all the hard work you are doing to keep the house together. Indeed, you noted that this conference is not going to be expensive, but you have not yet received the bill for all the hours, for the logistics. But the president of Juris Diversitas just told me that he's waiving, and he's not going to bill for the logistics hours. No, the thing that happened, and maybe the group will like to hear that, I initially thought naively that LSU would make the Zoom account that we have, and which is very powerful, to run the conference. But they told me we have rules and we need to have an LSU person on every panel, every session. We had 29 of these. Or if you do not have, you have to do, and the paperwork and the process I mean, I started the conversation in February or in March, would take 2 or 3 months. And then we calculated that it would just cost a few €100 to buy a license on our own. Yeah, but the thing is that pretty much was the one to activate. But I'm thanking nonetheless Will Monroe, who is our IT officer at the Law Center. He has helped me figure out and create these and take care of the wiring and the plumbing. That's all what you will hear about it. Okay, we in the series of reports, Krista, do you have anything left? Because pretty much covered election, or do you want to talk or report on something?
No. My responsibility is to do the records of the association and to take responsibility for communications with members. So I have done that, and you did already deal with the election of the office bearers. So I can just report that I did do my activities, and the election was successful, and that is about it. My work is the most, I think, but the least interesting of everybody.
The most useful and important indeed. We have our 2 officers for communication and development, if you wish, or it's only, yeah, we have 11 minutes left, but we have not heard our other members. Anne, les femmes d'abord. Anne.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Olivier. I will be quick. So first of all, thank you for your trust. I'm the green one in the team, so I really appreciate your support. I think that as a development officer, I will be working hand in hand with Olivier and with all the board. My objective will be really to bring new colleagues from other disciplines. And I think that this is the only thing I can really do because of my background. For the ones who don't already know me, I'm a professor of law in a business school, in a French business school, which is in the top 10 for its MBA program. And so I'm working every day with economists, above all, because I'm specialized now in competition law, antitrust law. So I'm working every day with concepts coming from economics. And I'm working as well with people coming from cross-cultural management, from finance, on M&A, etc. So I think I can be useful for developing that, and as well for developing links with professors of laws which are teaching in and doing research in business schools, because they are quite well organized as well. Even in France now, we do have an association of professors teaching in business schools. So I think we can do something to coordinate them and to invest in this association. So I wanted to be quick. So and as well for joining, probably because I'm working, I'm the head of a double degree in law, and I'm working with 2 faculty of law in France. And I think it can be useful as well to coordinate and to develop workshops and things of this kind. So thank you very much.
Thank you for joining our team, and this is a very great value for us. Emmanuel, the 30-second, maybe 1 minute, or you? On t'entend pas, Emmanuel. I think Emmanuel doesn't have sound, as I noticed that earlier. We can't hear you, but we appreciate your being here and the work that you are doing on the website. And I will say, please send any event, any publication that you want to appear on the website of Juris Diversitas to Emmanuel, or if you send it to me, I will forward it to him. But we'll do a call to the membership to that effect. That leaves us with 8 minutes for questions from the floor. I apologize that we took so much time with our report. Does anyone wish to comment, make suggestion, critique? Krista.
May I just quickly tell everybody that we have a member whose birthday it is today, and that is Kyriaki Tupidi. So if we could all just give a hand to say congratulations.
Congratulations, happy birthday. And one of us is getting married tomorrow. Is she with us at the moment on that meeting? I forgot who she is, but we have a wedding immediately after the event. Probably she's busy preparing all the things, but this is a great time. Okay, anyone? The floor is open. Just yes, Elena.
Okay. Thank you. I just saw a message by Emmanuel. He didn't say anything, but he has written interesting things in the chat. So perhaps you see that. And congratulations for I adore the conference really, and I hope that next year we shall have some beers too, together and not virtually. And I would like to ask a technical question. Will every session recorded or not? Shall we have access to those recorded?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very good question. And indeed, read in the chat the very interesting suggestions that have been made by Emmanuel. Thank you, Elena, for calling attention to this. Regarding all sessions have been recorded. I started, and it's pretty, I've got to open each of them, do a little bit of editing because we're starting 10 minutes early. And every time, by the way, someone comes early and it leaves a recording. So I'll have to weed all this. It's going to take a few days. And the question is, what do we do with these recordings? I will share them with the panel, but we have to ask each speaker whether they accept the recording to be used or made public. I know some people are protective of their image rights, etc. The recording is as such, you only see people who are speaking. You only see the speakers. You don't see the audience. You don't see their names. So my request will be to the people who are visible on this. And the challenge that I have with this is that we're going to terminate the Juris Diversitas license, which means it's going to abort our right to share these links. So I'll have to migrate them to another place, and I still have to work on this. But yes, we will make it that our beautiful work is not lost. And please send our way or send my way any suggestion as to what we should do regarding these recordings.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Celia Berger-Tarard has a question.
Hi, thank you. So first, thank you to everyone and to the members of the board of Juris Diversitas, and it's a great conference. I'm having a great time. Now, I do have a suggestion. I thought maybe it could be useful to have an intranet, some kind of page that we could only access with codes, so that we could share sensitive information, such as coordinates, names, maybe those videos. For my part, for example, for me, I would agree to share with all the members of Juris Diversitas, but I don't want to share on the internet. So just a suggestion. I don't know if it's possible, but I thought it would be useful.
Thank you for the suggestion. This is something that we'll certainly discuss with the executive committee and see what is doable and feasible, within our small organization. Thank you. Anyone else? We have 3 minutes. Alexandre Kedar, please. Alex Kedar.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I will really strongly suggest to put to download. I don't think you need the permission from the presenters because everybody, I think that it says that it is recorded and accepted. So I don't know. And second thing, you can just put it on the program so we can link, by the link, and then we can watch all the session. I think it will be very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. I also value this comment. We will discuss what we do. My task at the moment is making sure that all these recordings do not get lost and that they get the editing that they need. And we will share one way or another. Thank you. I think you're getting very, very close to the ending time. Emmanuel, did you solve your mic?
Can you hear me now?
Woo! Here we
Hallelujah. Go. You say it was the wrong microphone. It shows that challenges are also opportunities. And what we're going through right now with the organization of the whole conference in Zoom format shows that, okay, we not only have challenges, but there are also opportunities. For example, I just discovered the slideshows on PowerPoint, and they're a fantastic tool. Academia.edu is not giving courses on their website. And that shows that we have that possibility to become a resource, a very strong resource as an organization, Juris Diversitas. And I want to thank you, Olivier. You've done a fantastic job in organizing this conference, which was a huge, huge challenge. You've done a fantastic job, and I would like to continue to develop this with you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you very much for this comment that is humbling me. It's been my pleasure. I knew every time I've been irritating, I've been in situation to say, forgive my French, etc. But every time I thought I'm doing this for a higher and a great purpose. And I'm glad that it seems to be working okay. And since the time is now up, I wish you, because we are a little bit more, we're about more than halfway. I don't know, because I'm a different part of the world, but good and great continuation. I will meet you at sessions. And thank you so much for everything you contribute and participate. And que la fête continue. Let the festivities continue. Okay, let's wave at each other. Let's be as physical as we can in this environment. Thank you. Big hug to all of you.